Hey guys, welcome back. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, wait, sorry, that's the wrong thing. So for IED, what we're going to be doing is a reverse engineering project that's going to take us to the end of the year, but we're going to break it up into 6 parts. In order to help you guys understand how to manage your time, I'm going to teach you how to make a Gantt chart. This Gantt chart is going to be for a single day. Okay, so if you notice that I wake up in the morning at 8 a.m. and my day ends with a long Call of Duty session at 3:15 in the morning because I don't have to wake up and go anywhere because I'm stuck here all day with my daughter, which is awesome. We're going fishing a lot. It's going pretty cool. Well, by going fishing, I mean she has a fishing pole and she likes to practice cast in my head from across the room. So that's a lot of fun. Maybe I'll video it and send it out to somebody. It's a pretty cool thing. Anyway, so here's how this works. A Gantt chart maps your tasks over a certain amount of time and then helps you visualize what it is you're actually doing and when you're doing it. Okay? So, for example, when I wake up at 8 in the morning, I make breakfast and drink coffee. I'm going to say this takes me 15 minutes, but what if it took me 30 minutes? You'll see the Gantt chart magically update. Okay? And say I really don't spend 45 minutes enjoying my breakfast. Let's say I only spend 15 minutes enjoying my breakfast. You can see everything update live as it's updated in the Gantt chart. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do this. Your assignment for today is to come up with 10 tasks that you do every school day. That is a Monday, a Wednesday, or a Friday. Okay, so you'll pick one of those days and you'll make 10 tasks that you must complete. All right. Those tasks include your classes, okay? That's interesting. So those classes. So you have at least 7 tasks because you have 7 homework assignments or 7 lessons that you have to prepare for. So that's 7 of your 10. Okay, I have 16 tasks that I do. You don't need that. You need at least 10. So if you have 7 lessons on a Monday, a Wednesday, or a Friday, that's part of it. Okay. So you have 7 of those, and you have to come up with 3 extra things, okay? It could literally be anything. I don't care if you put bathroom break on there or a movie. As you can see, I usually end up watching a movie on Netflix or something in the morning, kind of like break the monotony. And I always end my day with Call of Duty because it's free and it's awesome, and everybody's in bed by then. So it's working out pretty well. So I am on the portal. Only because that's what you guys have access to. If you have access to the program in the desktop, you're going to be able to do this a lot easier. You can do cool, fancy things like turning these sideways that you can't do in the portal. I'm going to be very clear with you guys. The portal is trash. It's garbage. I hate the portal with every fiber of my being. But you can download this on your own student laptop from the portal. But if you don't feel like downloading it, you can just use the Excel that is already in the portal. Okay? It's not the end of the world. I just don't like it. But I'm using this terrible portal version of Excel for you guys. So enjoy. But I really want to make sure you understand that the portal is not great and the program is amazing. Anyway, so before we get started, I want to be very clear. Monday's assignment is to just write down 10 things. Okay, you can write them in Excel. You can write them in Word. I don't really care where they are as long as they're somewhere and you put them into Canvas. Okay? Monday's assignment is only 10 things. And watch this video. Okay? Alright, here we go. So this video is going to be for Wednesday and Friday. It'll take you 2 days to get everything set up for your Gantt chart. So I'm going to go to the portal. Okay? Type it in. Portal.office.com. I'll put a link in the description. Excel. And blank workbook, and away we go. All right, so the first thing we got to do is start setting up our Gantt chart. So the way we do that is I'm just going to start laying things out. So I'm going to start over here at B because I want this to be my task ID down here. So the first thing we got to do is what our project name is. Okay, then after we have project name, we're going to do project duration. Okay, see how they're starting to overlap? I don't like that. So I'm going to double click here. And I'll space this out exactly the way it's spaced. Okay, or I can just click and drag it manually. It doesn't really matter. Okay, I want this to be wrapped, so it does that. And see how it's always kind of off to the side left, and it's at the bottom. I don't really like that, so I'm going to say I want it centered left to right, okay, and I want it centered in the middle. Okay, that's what this one does. Middle, top, and bottom centers it. This one as well. I want it in the middle as well as the middle there. Okay, so I'll keep going. I'm going to say project start time and project end time, and that's it for those. Okay, again, I want to make sure I'm going to select the top of the rows, double click them. Okay, and then here my project name, make this a little bit bigger. My project name is day in the, let's capitalize that, day in the life of post-apocalyptic e-learning. Okay, double click that to make it bigger. Project duration we don't know yet. Project start time we don't know, and those I don't know. So let's give this a nice color. Let's make this orangish. That's a terrible orange. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, let's make that white so it pops a little bit more. Boom. Okay. And then let's go ahead and make this bordered so it looks pretty. And then I want these to be centered as well. Okay. Next thing we gotta do is we're gonna do our task ID. Okay. We're going to say task description, boom, task duration, start time, end time. Okay, again, we're going to, that's right, center these, boom, put a border on them. Let's turn these green, because why not? Let's give them a white, just like before, bold, make them a little bit bigger. Okay, we'll highlight these to make sure everybody's fitting. Perfect. So now we have this. And I'm going to go ahead and start my task IDs. And I need 10 tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down. But you know what? That sucks. I don't want to do that. So here's what I'm going to do. See how I have 1 and 2? I'm going to select both of those. And Excel knows what I'm trying to do. They know I'm trying to count up. So I'm going to just see how it's my cursor. Then I have like a four-way arrow. I'm going to come over here on the bottom right, and it turns into a crosshair. That's going to drag down my predictive algorithm to 10. I could go all the way down to 20 if I wanted to, but don't. I just want to stop at 10. So, stop at 10. Again, I want everything in here to be centered, okay, and I want them to have borders. Task description, okay. First thing I do is make breakfast. And coffee, that's very important. Eat breakfast, that's a task. And enjoy coffee. By enjoy, I mean get in my food hole as fast as possible. Make IED lesson. What else we got? Movie. Break. Make lunch. What else I got? Eat lunch. That's important. Can't forget to eat lunch. Lay daughter down for nap. That takes a while sometimes. Make sim lesson. What else I got? Update grades. That takes a while. And my last one will be make robotics lesson. No, I have other things that I have on my list, but I'm not going to really go into them right now. Because you only need 10. Okay, you could have 16 if you wanted to, like I do in mine, but it's not necessary. Whoops. See how it copied 10? Because I didn't have this. It needs to have an idea of what I'm trying to do. But you only need 10, so we're just going to go with that. Alright. Okay. Now, start time. What time do you wake up in the morning? I usually wake up about 8 a.m. Whoops. 8 a.m. Okay. Nope. This is fun. This is good stuff, guys. Okay, 8 a.m. Great. I want all of these to be timed, so I'm going to select this entire cell array. That's what it's called, an array. I'm going to go number format, and I want them all to be time. And I like using time with the PM. So this is 8, okay, a.m., and then so on and so forth. My end time, so let's say I want my I take, let's say, 30 minutes to make breakfast. Actually, let's say 15 minutes. Okay, I want this number to equal this. Now I could say, well, 8 plus 15 is 8:15, right? And it would do it. But if I change this duration, let's say it really takes me an hour, okay? Well, it doesn't change. Now I really want it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an algorithm. So I want to say equal, okay? So up here in the formula bar, I'm saying equal. I can just type it in the cell. Equals whatever my start time is, so D5, which is column D, row 5, plus, now what I would normally do is this, plus that. The problem is Excel doesn't understand that I'm trying to add a time to a constant number, because normally it would work, right? If I had 5 and I had 6, I could say I want this number equals this plus this. And normally it would give me whatever it is, and I could change this to be 10, and it would do it for me, right? And I can do that with just about anything. I could say subtraction or whatever. If I change 1, it'll change that, right? So that's pretty cool. But the problem is it doesn't work with time. So I have to use an actual function of time. So I'm going to say my original start time, which is D5, plus time. Now time is going to be, it wants hours, comma, minutes, comma, seconds. Well, I don't want to add hours. Everything I'm going to do in here is going to be in minutes. So 0 hours. Now the minutes is going to determine what is in here. Since as long as I'm always using my actual minutes, not like 2 hours, I'm going to say 120 minutes. So 1 hour would be 60 minutes. I'm going to actually use C5, that cell, comma, 0 seconds. Boom. So now when I update this to be 45, whoops, my time would update as well. So 2 hours, 30 minutes. You see my time is updating, okay? So this number, because I can't start the next task until I've completed my first task, I want this to equal this, right? Except now I got a problem. I can't start at 8:30, right? No, because I need to be able to end after this. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's really this plus 15 minutes. Because I can't start the next thing until the first thing is over. Boom. Oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, no extra comma. Boom. Okay. And now here's what I'm going to do. I want this to always be, so let's say this one takes me 45 minutes. Just like I did here, where I was able to drag these down, I was able to predict what I wanted, okay? I'm going to do the same thing here. It's going to always move D5 down to the next row. So it's really going to be D6, so on and so forth. So I'm going to do the same thing, drag my formula all the way down, okay? Drag this formula all the way down, because it's always going to be going to the, see how here it goes to the top right, okay, to E5. Every time I do this, it's going to understand that I want to go down a cell. Okay, so let's try again. It's going to go down a cell. So now I'm at E6, okay? Even all the way down here, it understands that every time this cell moves, the formula moves down as well. Okay, so now I can just start typing things in. So breakfast really takes me, I think it's going to take me 30 minutes to enjoy, 30 minutes, let's say 15 minutes to make. Make an IED lesson, let's say 30 minutes for that. Movie break is really going to be 120 because I'm watching Endgame. Make lunch takes me about 30 minutes. Eat lunch takes me 45, so I take my time. Let's say maybe it's going to be, I think she's going to give me a hard time. So I'm going to say it takes me an hour. Sim lesson is going to take me about 15 minutes. Update grades is going to take me a while. So let's say an hour and a half. And then make robotics lesson, which would be, that usually takes me about 45 minutes. Okay? And boom, there's my day. So this is a really nice way of seeing, all right, so I got a duration here, and it's going to take me this time, but I want to visualize it. So I'm going to use a timeline scenario, which is where my Gantt chart really gets its power. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to state my time. Well, my time is always the first block. That's where my day starts. It always starts at 8 a.m., okay? Now, the next time has to be the next duration of time. So I'm always going to be using 15-minute increments. So 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, so on and so forth. I will always use 15-minute increment. If you really want to get pedantic, you go down to 5-minute increments, which would be crazy. Your Gantt chart would take forever. I think 15 is kind of a sweet spot. 30 minutes was just too much because sometimes a task only takes me 15. If a task isn't going to take you at least 15 minutes, it's not a task, it's just moving. So I'm going to say I want my next cell to equal this cell plus time. 0 hours, always 15 minutes later. Boom. And again, I'm going to drag this all the way across until I'm happy. Let's see, when's my last time? 6:15, so I'll just keep dragging this out until I get to about 6:15. That's fine. Okay. I'm going to drag these, make sure they're a little smaller. Okay. You know what? I want this to also be, let's make this red with white. Ooh, that's hard to see. Let's do blue. Okay. Give them all of those. In fact, let's do all of these like that too. Give everybody a border. Boom. Ooh, let's also make sure these are centered. Okay, just in case. Boom. All right, so now comes the fun part. Now here's what I want to do. I want every time this falls in between these two dates, or these two times, every time this time falls in between these two, I want this to show me. So I want to put an X there. Okay. Now I could do this manually, like, oh, 8 does fall between 8 and 8:15. Oh, 8:15 does fall between 8 and 8:15. 8:30 doesn't, but it does here, and I could keep doing that all the way down, right? But I don't want to do it manually. I want Excel to do it for me. So I'm going to write an algorithm. Okay, it's a logical test. If this is true, and I'm going to use, my logical test is going to be an AND test, because I have two conditions I have to meet. Is 8 a.m. greater than 8? And is it also less than 8:15? That's what I want to do. So I'm going to use an AND function. Okay. And my first logical test is this number greater than or equal to this number, comma, the second part of the AND, because it's a statement that requires two true premises, or two true statements. Okay. Is this less than or equal to this number? Okay. And if it is, what do I want to do? Oh, wait. Close that, because that ends the AND. Then, if true, what do I want to do? If true, I want to put a nice big X in this cell. If it's not true, I don't want to put anything in that cell. Okay? Boom. So the quotations is called a string. So I want to, everything in those quotations will be inside the cell. So if it's true, I want to put an X. If it's not true, there's nothing inside the quotations, so nothing's put there. So far, so good. Okay, let's go ahead and do this real quick so it looks pretty when I do this. So I'm going to center everything. Okay, everything should be centered now. Coolio. All right, so here's the problem. Just like when we did this one, every time I moved it down, it knew to move this formula down with it. It went from E5 to E6 to E7 to E8, so on and so forth. The problem is I don't want everything moving here. I always want it to be, whether I'm in this cell or this cell or this cell, I want it to be referencing this column. Okay, so I'm going to lock this column. And the way you lock things in Excel is with a $sign. So I'm going to lock column 4. So every time I see 4, I want to lock it, because I don't want it to ever come off that column. Okay, so now I come down here, and it should be good. But I'm not quite done yet, because I also have to lock these columns. I'm sorry, row 4. Now I need to lock these columns. I don't ever want, because when I move down the row, I don't want these columns getting off of the row. So I'm going to come here. I'm also going to lock column D and column E. I don't ever want those to move either. So now, since I locked those with the $sign, everything else will move with the reference and populate my chart. Boom. And my chart is populated. And you can see as I move this, so let's say I want to update this. I actually want this to be 30 minutes, or I want it to be an hour. The chart moves with me. Okay, that's the point. So, but this is still kind of hard to see, so I'm going to go in here, I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to use a conditional formatting, And I want to highlight this cell if it's equal to, well, what would be in the cell? An X. So if there's an X in the cell, I want it to, we'll do, why not do a green fill with, let's do, I don't really care. This one. Fine. Boom. So now it's just kind of easy to see. Last thing we have to do is our duration, our start time, and our end time. Our start time will always be equal to whatever minimum value is in our start time column. In this case, 8. Our end time is always going to be equal to our maximum in here. Boom. Okay? Our project duration is going to be equal to this minus this. And that's our, now the problem is this is time. I don't want 1030, so I'm going to go to format number. I don't want that, I want military time. That way it gives me 10 hours and 30 minutes. My day takes me 10 hours and 30 minutes. Okay? Now if I was to change these, let's say I don't watch Endgame, I went down by a half hour. Okay? If I change this to 15 minutes, my duration also changes. Now I have a 9-hour, 15-minute day. Let's say my daughter wasn't so hard to put down for a nap. Where's nap time? Let's say she only took 15 minutes. Now I'm down here. But let's say I want to watch, I want to watch the entire Endgame saga. So that's what? That's like 5 hours. So what is this? 5 times 60? 300 hours. Now my day is going to take me 12 hours and 30 minutes. Okay. So this is a very powerful program that you're going to write yourself. So again, the only thing that's due today are your 10 tasks. Okay? Minimum of 10 tasks. Okay? Wednesday and Friday, it'll take you both days to do this Gantt chart. Okay? So far, so good? All right. So today, on Monday, the only thing is due is your 10 tasks. Okay? So copy these, and you can just pop them anywhere you want. Okay? You can make them in Excel. You can make them in Word. It doesn't really matter to me. Okay? But the only thing that's due today is your 10 tasks. On Friday, this whole thing will be due. Okay? You will upload your Gantt chart. All right? Let me know if you have any questions.